Could you tell us, some insights on or learnings on this journey that you have? Especially all of us know that the data is in disparate systems. How do you kind of get it ready for this, 360-degree view of the patient, let's say, or any 360-degree view? And how do you make it happen in a large system like yours, which is seeing millions of patients and thousands of physicians?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think from my perspective, our data analytics strategy, which we built almost 5 years ago, has 6 pillars to it. The first is creating an enterprise data hub. So getting all of our data in one singular enterprise, data warehouse or lakehouse, if you want to call it that. But we have a very large enterprise data warehouse that collects all the information. We have over 100 source systems feeding to this data warehouse, both structured data and unstructured data, that really allow us to harness, essentially ingest all the data into a single repository. The second step of that strategy is to model the data appropriately, right? So we really want to integrate the data sets and be able to standardize, normalize data, deduplicate the data, and really trust it. So the second part of that is really the data integration components once we have it all together. That's a component of our strategy that I think is really important. And beyond that, the next step is having trusted data. We have lots of solutions and processes in place in terms of driving data trust across the enterprise. Mm-hmm. We view that as a fundamental need in order for data. If data is not trusted, it cannot be used for data-driven decision-making. And so what we have done is created a data trust office that focuses on data governance, data quality, data stewardship, and all those standards and best practices. And all of those rules are applied at our data warehouse layer to create what's called a trusted data layer. And then our enterprise-grade analytics solutions are based on this trusted data layer, so that we've gotten rid of most of the discussions in terms of where does this data come from, what does it mean, et cetera. We also recently, a year or so ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, released our enterprise data catalog, which is one single front door to all our data assets at Shop. Our metric definitions, our cohorts, our dashboards, everything is within this catalog, which also increases accessibility to data. And so I think that's a little bit about what's unique. And then I think moving from that, our thought is if we have a data repository, if we have trusted data and integrated data, then we can also create a data literate workforce, which is critical. And so we've invested a lot of time in data literacy, and we've established a data analytics university that's now trained thousands of people at Shop on our kind of proprietary way of how we want people to think through. How do you use data? What's our data ecosystem? How do you tell stories with data? How do you assess if data is of quality? And then how do you ultimately make a data-driven decision? So we have a whole DNA university that provides all sorts of courses at different levels for folks to train them on how to use data effectively at Shop, which then leads to the last 2 layers of our strategy, which is if we have all of these components and we have trained folks on how to use data well, then we can deploy self-service analytics solutions. We've done that a lot, and we've seen a huge adoption because of the literacy work and the trust work and the enterprise work that we've done with our data warehouse. And now we're really focusing on moving to predictive, data science, advanced analytics. How might we predict the outcome prior to happening? So that's the advanced analytics component of our data analytics.
Right.